Hey, Pastor Mark Conforti here with another Cheerwine Chat. I grabbed a Cheerwine, how about you grab one too? I would love to share with you some reflections, what's been on my heart over these last several weeks. Also, wanting to answer some more church mail. But first, come with me over to the church building where we can catch up with someone really special. Hey, I'm here in our church's wonderful youth lounge with Jen Fogt, our church's Director of Youth Ministries. Jen, welcome to Cheerwine Chat.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us, what's your biggest joy and blessing serving in youth ministry?
I love youth ministry. I love the youth that I get to work with here. I love their families. I love getting to build relationships with them, going to their sporting events. I've been to basketball games and championships and dance recitals. Going to those things and seeing our youth in the space and doing what they love to do is really exciting. And adolescence is just a time when there's so much growth and change in a person's life. They're really figuring out who they are and who they want to be moving forward. And growth spiritually, physically, mentally, it's all happening at once. And it's really exciting to get to walk alongside our youth as they navigate adolescence.
The past couple months have been unlike any other time. It's been extraordinarily challenging for all of us personally. At the church, we've needed to adapt. What's it been like being in church ministry during COVID-19?
At first, I thought things would quiet down a little bit. We'd kind of get bored, maybe get to do some deep cleaning that we hadn't got to do before. But the church life has really not slowed down. We've stayed just as busy as ever, I think. Between going to Rowan Helping Ministries, our staff has been going, and then other small groups of church members have been volunteering about once a week. We've been going over to Rowan Helping Ministries to pack food for our community. And as far as youth goes, of course, we haven't been able to meet in person.
You've had the Zoom calls.
But we've had Zoom calls, and we've been able to connect through driveway visits. I've just been putting my camping chair in the back of my car, and the first time around for Easter, we were able to deliver some Easter eggs to folks, and the pictures we got back when our youth were hunting the Easter eggs, you think Easter egg hunts are for little kids, but I'm telling you, our seniors in high school loved it. They were so excited. Yeah. And things like this time I brought popcorn this week as I've started driveway visits again. It's just a chance for me to safely, from a good distance, interact with our youth, check in on them, see how everybody's doing.
So as we look ahead, the next few months, the next several years, what's your hope for our church's ministry?
This time during COVID-19 has been challenging. And I'm really hopeful that when things quiet down and we're able to get back to whatever normal looks like, that we're able to see the opportunity in the challenges that we're facing right now. And remember that, the work of the church never stops. The church was not closed for any length of time. We couldn't meet in our building. And we have great facilities here. It's wonderful to be able to use them, but I hope that when we're able to come back to the building and do some of the things we're used to doing, that we remember this is a good reminder that the church is more than a building. It's more than bricks and flooring. It's the people working together for God's kingdom.
Well, Jen, I want you to know how grateful I am for you. It's a blessing to serve with you. I'm so grateful that you're a part of the team. And I'm looking forward to what God has in store for all of us next. Thanks for coming and chatting with me.
Thanks again.
Enjoy your Cheerwine.
I will.
Remember, the story of Easter is bigger than the COVID-19 story. I know that to be true in my mind, and I know it to be true in my heart. But I've needed to remind myself of that over and over again over these past several weeks. Why? Because there are so many other stories that seem so overwhelming. What will school look like in the fall? When will businesses be able to reopen? All of these questions with no easy answer. The story of Easter is bigger than the COVID-19 story. That is to say, what God did in Jesus, resurrecting him from the dead, defeating the powers of sin, evil, illness, and death, that's the anchor of who we are as God's people. And we need to hold on to that anchor. Otherwise, we're going to get swept away as one day we read one headline, another day we read another headline. Instead of getting swept away, we need to hold on to that essential truth of Easter. That's who we are as God's people. As such, I believe that the church needs to be all about offering a word of hope. We need to extend care, but we also need to offer belonging. Belonging to everybody within the church who's already been a part of our ministry throughout the years, but also to extend that belonging. Because there are other people in Salisbury and Rowan County who are looking, searching, wondering if there's anybody out there who cares for them. We do. We ought to, at least. And this is the way that we need to lean into the future, wanting to extend that sense of care, but also the reality of hope. We need to extend that so that others can be a part, so that they too can belong. Think about those three words with me: hope, care, and belonging. As we continue to move forward into the summer, our ministries are going to look different than they did the summer of 2019, summer of 2018, and so forth. They're going to look different. They're going to be simplified, and in some ways, they're going to look brand new. Our hope is to offer a sustainable way for us to connect and to continue to grow in our faith. Because being a disciple of Jesus Christ is perhaps more important today than any other time in our recent memory. The world is looking for God's love. People in Rowan County and Salisbury are looking to you and to other Christians to see the light shining in the darkness. Because we believe that the story of Easter is bigger than the story of COVID-19. As such, we live as people of hope. We live as people who care for one another because we belong. We belong to God and we belong to each other. How about we answer a little bit of church mail? First one here: do I believe online worship is here to stay? I do, especially in the short term, not just throughout the year 2020, but into 2021. I believe that online worshiping opportunities are going to feather in with our in-person opportunities. And so we hope that whether someone is worshiping from the comfort of their sofa, drinking a cup of coffee, or if they are within our church's sanctuary, within the comfort of God's love with one another, we hope that people can worship God in spirit and truth. And we need to do everything with excellence. We need to offer our very best, whether it's digital, online, or in person. Next question: when can we resume Sunday morning worship? I don't know. I wish I could give you a date and that we could look forward to that date when everybody could be gathered together in person again, doing what we love to do in worship. But we do not know. Here's what we're pretty clear about, though. The next time we do gather in person for worship, it will be a smaller gathering of people, spaced apart throughout the sanctuary. People will need to have to wear masks. And in case you haven't heard, we're not able to sing or participate in responsive readings anytime soon. Studies have shown in recent weeks that singers and people speaking in public have a way of producing more droplets into the air, which means this is the way that a church sanctuary is entirely different than a store. You know how people are asking the question, well, how come I'm allowed to go to the store but not church? In summary, here's why. In a store, the doors are opening and closing frequently. You're in and you're out. You're constantly moving and you're not staying talking to people. Within a church sanctuary, you're still in that room for about an hour, and the singing, the responsive readings, producing all of these droplets in the air. If there's someone who does have the coronavirus, there's a very strong chance that many people in that place would then receive it from that person. It's too big of a risk. And so it is still time for us to wait, still time for us to discern and figure things out. Not quite time yet to gather for in-person worship. But in the meantime, we need to be patient and we need to look for ways that we can continue to keep the connection strong. Next question. What's the status on our Director of Music search? Well, it was paused for a while in light of COVID-19, but the Staff Parish Relations Committee recently picked up the search again, continuing with virtual interviews with the finalists. And we're looking forward to bringing them into town for an in-person visit as soon as possible. All right, another question. What are we doing to prepare the sanctuary for when we can have people in worship? Well, just this last week, we had a team of people gather to take many things out of the sanctuary. Take a look at this. All of the pew cushions, hymnals, Bibles, those little pencils, offering envelopes and cards, all of that needed to be taken out. It's temporary, of course, because things that are highly touchable, we can't have them right now in the sanctuary. All right, last question for now. What about the visioning effort we started in February? What's the latest on that? Great question. Remember, we had the visioning day in February. The second one was scheduled for March. That needed to be suspended for now. But I'm looking forward to taking everybody who was a part of that visioning day in February and continuing the conversation, smaller groups, either through Zoom meetings or highly structured in-person gatherings where people, of course, are social distancing. So if you were a part of that effort, look for more information. Even if you weren't able to go to that visioning day back in February, but you're interested now in being a part of imagining the future of the church and articulating a plan moving forward, let me know, because we would love to include you in the journey. I'm running out of Cheerwine. It's time for me to go. See you next time for another Cheerwine Chat.